Hey, it's Russ from the Infectious Groove Podcast and Vinyl Channel. Coming up today, I'm going to talk about a rare pressing that should not be a rare pressing, and a little bit about the original that I got, and my hopes for it getting a reissue coming right up. Alright, so to get into today's video, I'm spotlighting one particular album that I think it's a crime is a rare album, at least in the United States, and it boggles my mind why this hasn't been reissued. I'm speaking, of course, about Tesla's 5-Man Acoustical Jam, which was just a fantastic live show that Tesla put out to capitalize on the success that they were having with Love Song and Modern Day Cowboy and a lot of the singles that they had that really blew them up. And this record really showcases Tesla as a band, as just the raw talent that they had within the band, and it's just a stunning show. It really covers their career up till that point. If you're familiar with this record, kind of on the outskirts, it's probably for the cover single that came out off the record that was an enormous hit for Tesla. They did a cover of the 5-Man Electric Band song Signs, and that was the single off of this album, and really blew up. I would imagine there's a large cross-section of people out there that don't even know that Signs is a cover, let alone that the whole connection with why this is called the 5-Man Acoustical Jam and the band that they covered was the 5-Man Electrical Band, and so on. Having said that, if you haven't heard this entire record, you are really missing out. Just looking at the track listing, like I said, this covers their entire career, but you know, the way it is, fantastic version. One thing you don't hear ever on the radio is that Signs itself comes out of a cover of We Can Work It Out, and it is just a fantastic cover of that song that actually goes down into Signs. And the way Signs was released on the radio, they kind of put some faux crowd noise at the beginning and made it sound as if that's the only song that they did. But Getting Better is on here, Paradise, Mother's Little Helper. There's two covers back to back actually that are just fantastic, every bit as good as Signs, if that's all you know of the record. They cover Lodi by Creedence, and then they cover Mother's Little Helper by the Rolling Stones, and it's fantastic. And then that all leads up to a great version of Modern Day Cowboy, which starts out completely different than you've heard it before and kind of goes into an acoustic version of what you know. Just fantastic. Now, if you're watching this video and you've never even heard Signs, you don't know what I'm talking about with Modern Day Cowboy, and Tesla for you is just the Love Song band, then you still need to hear this album, because the version of Love Song on here, personally, I think smokes the version that's on the album. It's or the studio version. It is fantastic acoustic version all the way across the board, but then they do a great acoustic version of the solo, and then the whole band kicks in, and there's another version of the solo that's electric. That's the one that you're used to on the album, or the studio version. Just a fantastic version of the song, and the show all the way across the board. The band is on fire. It really is one of those albums that, if I don't like the term hair metal because it's mostly used as a derogatory term, but if someone was to say like, oh, I don't like hair metal, all those guys sound alike, and you know, there's not a lot of talent going around there, this is one of those albums that I would pull out, put on, and just say, okay, take a listen to this and let me know if you think there's no talent or diversity involved in hair metal. I cannot believe this hasn't been reissued. Tesla's catalog has been reissued bit by little bit over the past couple of years, with things like Psychotic Supper getting reissued, which kind of surprised me, but I'm happy for it. There's albums I would still like to see from Tesla get on vinyl, like Into the Now. Their fantastic album from 2003, 2004 has never been on vinyl, but this one here, I'm quite surprised has never been reissued. The only reason I personally can think of is because of the covers. Maybe there isn't, there's got to be some rights worked out to reissue it with Signs and Mother's Little Helper and Lodi and so on. That's my only guess. If those aren't the holdup, and anybody from any sort of record label or pressing company happens to see this, get this one on your release list. Make sure to re-release that. The big thing with mine is it is an original that was originally available in Europe. Not a lot to showcase here as far as the inners go. just very, very, very plain, some pictures of the band and production notes. There's a review of one of the shows in there, and that's it. But there is one small thing about this particular one that I wanted to show that I thought was kind of funny. So if you're into vinyl, then you are used to your inner labels looking like this from a record, and this one here, side 4, something must have happened at the pressing plant, because that is the worst inner label that I personally have ever seen. Just kind of separated all the way out onto the record. I was a little heartbroken when this arrived from Discogs. I was thinking, oh no, I bet that this is going to affect side 4. It doesn't. It's far enough within the dead wax to where if you pick the needle up, there's no audio issues with it at all, which is great. So that's a little bit of a focus on one of the rare pressings that I have that I love. Hopefully this won't be rare for long. Tesla, the 5-Man Acoustical Jam.